Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me today as we're going to discuss the astrological energies from September 13th until September 20th, as we have quite an interesting week with the Virgo New Moon, Mercury stationing direct, and a very active Sun in Virgo, as it will interact with all three outer planets over this next week. So we'll be discussing all of that and more in today's podcast episode. Thank you so much for joining me, as this is an astrological show that focuses in on our energetic growth, spiritual expansion, and overall evolutionary journey that astrology supports. This is intended to be information that supports your choices, your power, your light, as well as further understanding what you can choose that's for your best and highest good, especially highlighted through the cosmic weather. And this week highlights a lot of Virgo themes. So let's get into it. Now, the Virgo New Moon will be occurring on September 14th at 9:39 p.m. That's Eastern Time. And it's happening at 22 degrees of Virgo in your chart. So you would identify where 22 degrees of Virgo shows up for you in your astrology chart, as this is where a new intention, a new beginning, a new desire is being supported to grow and develop over this lunar cycle. Now, we have a new moon every month, and the new moon is really a time of feeling into, tapping into what your intention is within these Virgo themes. And it's happening at 22 degrees of Virgo, which is the third decan. And when Mercury stations direct less than 24 hours later, on September 15th, around 4:20 p.m. Eastern Time, what we have here is the opportunity to stop and tune in to what your body consciousness is needing, what your energy is saying, how it's speaking to you. This is also where it can be more effective to establish the new routines that will support you now. Virgo is the energy of what is working in our lives, and this relates to our daily habits, what we have to take care of, where we need to show up and work, where we have responsibilities and others that depend on us, as well as what we depend on to make our lives more efficient, manageable, and effective. And during the Mercury retrograde phase that we've been in, if you'll recall, Mercury retrograde actually started at 22 degrees of Virgo, which is where this new moon is. And Mercury retrograde started back on August 23rd. So we have something coming up right now that's showing us what we can do better, what we're ready to change, what we're ready to switch up and see that could be more effective, supportive, and an overall better option. And it could be something that you've already been aware of, and that maybe Mercury retrograde has highlighted for you around what has not been working for you, what has been too stressful, what is outdated, what you no longer need or want. One of the strengths of Virgo is that it also shows us what to prune away, what to remove, what you no longer need. It served its purpose, it served its time, it's no longer necessary. And so with this Virgo new moon occurring at the same time that Mercury stations direct, there's an energy here of really stepping into improvements, new solutions. And this can be small because Virgo is about the incremental steps we take. Virgo is often quite linear. 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. This is what we do in order to reach a result or to go somewhere or to make something better. So these can be incremental changes that also elevate your energy. You feel a relief, you feel ready for the change. There could even be, again, something in your body consciousness giving you a clear yes. And that's because Virgo is the intersection between our intellect, the workings of our mind, how it's coupled with our body's messages, and how both of these create a loop of energy that speaks to each other. So think about how when you're moving through your internal messages, not only are you listening to yourself, but your body, every cell in your body, your energy is listening to those internal messages too. And so how many times do we flip the script? Do we consciously flip the script and say, okay, let me turn off the chattering in my head and listen to what my body is needing? My body is saying, maybe your body is saying you need rest. You need more downtime. You need to do less. Maybe your body is saying, I need a new workout routine. I need to do something that gets me going, that's new and fresh and different. Maybe your body is saying that it needs to stretch. It needs to expand. It needs to be moving more and stepping into more of the capabilities of movement, at least considering how much we sit at the desk, sit in a car, sit in the living room. There's the energy here of what would get new energy moving, not only in your body, but in your world and in your life. And so this Virgo new moon could tap you into what you need that isn't just based on your mind, because sometimes our minds can overrun or overshadow other messages that we're feeling or sensing internally. So this would be a beautiful time to check in on your body. Virgo is also about the energetic meridians that run through our bodies. What we might not always acknowledge or understand, but there can be blockages or slowdowns. There can be parts of ourselves that need more support, that need more fine-tuning. And this could be something that you're feeling with the strong Virgo energy, especially towards the end of the week, where you're understanding things that no longer fit you, no longer support you. And you could have some downloads, insights, or just a very clear understanding that if I make a little shift in this area of my life, if I cut out something, if I do less over here, I can do more over there. And this could be a time when that Virgo new moon and Mercury stationing direct make it clear what is important for you to honor, so that you can ultimately be in better service to yourself. And we think of Virgo as a service sign where it wants to support and contribute. It wants to provide something valuable and important to a bigger picture, to an overall cause or intention. And this actually is a week to reassess and understand what truly is not for you anymore. It just isn't working. It's exhausting. Almost looking at where does that exhaustion stem from, or the anxiety? If you feel overloaded, if there's too much stress, if there's too much going on. And yes, of course, this is part of life. And there's things that come up that can be a part of a more active or stressful phase in our life. But this is also getting down to brass tacks. This is also looking at the foundational energies and where your choices lie. Virgo is a mutable sign. Every mutable sign needs to have options, needs to be able to shift and pivot and move and be able to adapt accordingly. So this is an adaptability exercise that ultimately supports your energy even more. And because this Virgo new moon occurs when actually the moon is at its darkest, this is when the moon is in a place of gestation. There's a quietness and a stillness with every new moon. And I feel like that is accentuated even more as this Mercury stations direct around the same time. There is a stillness, and it's within that stillness that we're going to hear some more insight, some new solutions. Perhaps something is going to come through and it actually just makes brilliant sense. And you could even wonder, why didn't I think of that sooner? Why didn't I figure that out earlier? Now, that would be a wasted exercise because oftentimes we just get the information and the downloads right when we're supposed to. But there could be something that pops through that just makes something easier for you, easier in your life, easier in your routines, something that even just feels like it's such a clear yes. Now, the other strong part of this Virgo new moon is that we're going to see the Sun in Virgo trine Uranus retrograde in Taurus at 22 degrees as well. And this adds in a buzzy energy. With the trine to Uranus, there's an acceleration. There's a sense of yes, and then something can happen quickly and unexpectedly, a delightful surprise, a supportive development. And so with the trine to Uranus retrograde, something could come through and work better than you expected. There could be something that just clicks and it just allows there to be a new development that you're really wanting to implement and honor. The Uranus energy is exciting and it opens up a new pathway, a new avenue for something else to show up and come through. These are our brilliant breakthroughs. These are our understandings of, oh yeah, maybe this can work. I didn't think it really could, and now it is. So allow yourself to be delightfully surprised, or allow something to come up and show up that offers you a helping hand that is beneficial, especially through the earth sign realms of the physical world. So because this is where both Virgo and Taurus energies are connecting, that can be something very tangible and physical that provides that support, that provides that opening. This can certainly be new resources. And with Uranus retrograde, it might even be something that was right there that you overlooked previously. It's almost like I didn't even notice that was sitting in the same room, or that was an option. I didn't connect the dots. And now there could be something that clicks finally, and you're like, oh, it was right there all along, but I wasn't ready, or it wasn't time. I also feel like because this Mercury retrograde started at 22 degrees, which is where this Virgo new moon is, there's other things that had to line up and be figured out or processed. There's other things that had to maybe even get out of the way, be removed, be taken away, so that you could see the landscape or see the options in a new light. So there are solutions here. Whatever you want to begin, whatever your intention is with the Virgo new moon, the universe supports it in some manner through that trine from Uranus retrograde in Taurus. There's something here that comes through even rapidly and gives you that immediate yes, or something that could seem like instant gratification. That's also how Uranus works. Now, the sun has a rather big week ahead because the sun, being the biggest source of consciousness, warmth, light, and life in our solar system, is very important for what we're seeing, what we're understanding. And it is always vibrant, always pulsing with energy. But this week, it's making connections to all three outer planets right as the Virgo new moon begins, bringing in new downloads in the Virgo areas of your chart. I feel this as a Virgo ascension process is underway. There is energy here that's helping to elevate into the higher expressions of Virgo themes and intentions, and asking us to check in on anything that we are unconsciously activating or animating that no longer pertains to what serves us. And so through this Virgo ascension process, starting with the new moon, the Virgo energy is rising up. And it's really interesting. I'm actually seeing a filter rising up, not an Instagram filter. I mean like a filter that can hold something tangible. And it allows for anything lesser or lower to basically stream through and fall away. And there could be things that you're going to realize over this next week, which is in fact the last week of Virgo season, that you're understanding, I no longer want this. This is no longer correct for me. This no longer supports me or is something that I want to put energy towards. And this is important to acknowledge because sometimes that Virgo energy is willing to help or do something at any cost. Almost like if you feel like, yes, someone needs me or they need my help or they're not sure if they can do this themselves, then a Virgo energy can show up and support, teach, let me show you how to do this, let me help you out. And this would be a time to really look at where that takes your energy, how that affects you, if that is still something you want to participate in, or if you're realizing that you're doing too much for others at the expense of your own well-being or your own energy, if you're overdoing, overgiving, over-providing, if there's things that you're understanding, you're giving a lot, it isn't perhaps reciprocated, it isn't appreciated, it isn't acknowledged. And often what can happen is that those Virgo energies go into martyrdom or they go into an energy of like resentment or bitterness. And this is a time for you to self-regulate that and to look at where the root decision is being made. And before making a decision or just doing something you've always done, it comes back to what is the intention? How does this serve me and serve others? And is it the best use of my energy right now? And there could be things that you feel are easier to step away from. You feel it's easier to no longer participate in certain cycles or in certain efforts. There could be things that you've realized, yeah, I just don't want this anymore. This isn't correct for me. It's sinking my energy. It's heavy. It just feels like I'm carrying all of this. And for what? What am I doing? Why do I do this? Or what am I choosing? So there is a self-reflection component here. And part of the Sun in Virgo's ascension journey this week is to be in beautiful, powerful connection with the essence of your abilities, really knowing what you're good at, what you enjoy. What is life-giving? What gives you life in a way that is healthy, satisfying, sustainable? What is something that lifts you up and also feels like it's a wonderful use of your energy? That it's a way to work with who you are without being overly obligated to others. And of course, this will vary for each of us because we all have different types of responsibilities in our life. And Virgo is looking at what we do every day and to fine tune it, to improve it, to be aware of, yes, this supports my energy. This supports my body and my mind. This is how I feel really good about myself and my capabilities and my skill set, and to honor that. So again, this energy starts with the Virgo New Moon, and then the Sun in Virgo trines Uranus retrograde in Taurus. Then we're going to see the Sun in Virgo oppose Neptune retrograde in Pisces at 26 degrees. And this happens on September 18th and 19th. Depends on where you are at on the planet. But this opposition to Neptune retrograde is a removal. Something's not working and it could be frustrating you. Something isn't bringing about what you want. And again, September 18th and 19th, there's something that you just have to stop and realistically assess. And often there's a decision that has been made when Neptune is opposing a planet. And the decision is made by your higher self. So your higher self is understanding something that Sun in Virgo doesn't see, that doesn't realize perhaps or understand the bigger picture. And with Neptune representing your higher self, especially in Pisces, there is something that your higher self doesn't want you to keep hitting yourself over the head about. And sometimes with that Virgo energy, it sticks with something. It's like, I'm going to figure this out. I'm not going to leave the table until this puzzle is fully completed. I'm not going to give up. There's going to be a solution. And that sun in Virgo can keep working harder in order to see what will fit, what will work. Well, the opposition from Neptune retrograde in Pisces is going to be something that needs to be taken away or removed that at first could feel discouraging or a downer. You could get some information or news where it just isn't what you want to hear, and it can be disappointing. But it's only disappointing to the ego mind when you are in a place of trusting that this turning point, this energy is being guided by my higher self, and therefore my ego mind can relax into it, can step back and can accept it. Now, this also is a time for us to tune in to, again, how we are taking care of ourselves, our health, our well-being, and our bodies. We're going to have ongoing checking in points around these themes, especially into next year, since we have both Saturn and Neptune and Pisces now. And these are the energies that are going to be reprogramming the Virgo intentions. And because this pertains directly to health, well-being, your body consciousness, it is important to prioritize what your body needs in order to be healthier, in order to be taken care of, in order to look at what's really happening within you energetically and otherwise. So, this includes our immune systems, this includes our exercise and activity levels, this includes our overall lifestyle habits, how we eat, how we consume, what we are taking in and processing. And this relates to how the sun in Virgo relates to digestion. And yes, directly through the digestive system in our physical body, but how we digest energy, how energy moves through us. Is it healthy? Is it pure? Or what do we need to do to upgrade and shift the energy we're digesting and consuming? And so this could be a good time to be aware of that. I also feel like when the sun in Virgo opposes Neptune, there is a heightened sensitivity, and we could feel more sensitive to the energies around us. We could even be more intellectually aware of things going on, but intuitively, we're also sensing more. We're also receiving more energies, and we're picking up on more that's going in on the collective energy streams. So it's almost like if someone else is feeling a certain way, you could feel that more intensely or personally, even if it's not your energy. And then there's confusion around, well, why am I feeling this? Or why am I feeling sad? I'm not sad. Or why am I feeling really sensitive or more emotional? And it isn't you, it's in the collective. It's in the collective. So that is something to be aware of this week, because you could feel that heightened sensitivity, which also can lead to heightened compassion and empathy and understanding what is going on or what people are experiencing around you. But it also means you have to be clear around your boundaries. And that is something that will need to be strengthened this week. And that is even one of the strengths of the earth signs. So the opposition to Neptune retrograde in Pisces can be a letdown, something that you were banking on or counting on, something that falls through, something that doesn't come together. Then the sun moves on and makes an empowering trine to Pluto retrograde in Capricorn at 27 degrees. This happens right after that opposition to Neptune and Pisces, and the trine to Pluto is something definitive, is something to count on, to build, to move towards. There's a surge of passion and energy when a planet trines Pluto, and there's also a new level of certainty around this is the thing. This is what I want. This is what I'm going to put energy towards. And with this trine, it's going to alleviate or at least lessen any of the disappointment or discouragement that came up when the sun opposed Neptune. Rather, this shifts it into a higher gear, and this brings up something that you really want. And in Virgo and Capricorn, it's about what you want to work for, what that next goal is, where you want to be. I feel like this could even be a good checking in point for what you want to finish up and take care of before the end of this calendar year. So essentially, we have a very interesting conversation that begins with the Virgo new moon. So I wanted to also highlight we have a moving grand trine that begins with the Virgo new moon. And so as a review, the sun in Virgo trines Uranus in Taurus at 22 degrees, continues to move on, makes that opposition to Neptune, but then makes a second trine to Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. There could be things that you are seeing in a new way that you're realizing. Now, all of these outer planets are retrograde, and there could be something that you're seeing again, or it's coming up in a new way. You're revisiting something, and now it has a place to land because of how that sun in Virgo is about how we're using our energy daily. And I feel like part of this Virgo ascension process is taking us higher in our understandings of what we're good at, what we can do, what we're capable of. And at a practical level, this can bring up the desire for a job change. This can show you what you're no longer interested in pursuing or doing every day, and you're ready for a shift. You're ready for something new, for something different. And within each of us, we could be sitting with some new ways to approach an area of our life, a new way to handle anything that's coming up that isn't interesting or rewarding or fulfilling anymore. I feel like this is a week of really gaining clarity on something new you want to move towards, on something else that you're feeling a calling for, a calling towards. And as I've been looking at the astrology, not only of right now, but into next year, we're also going to have this energy strong next Virgo season. Next Virgo season, the sun in Virgo will trine Uranus in Taurus and will make one final trine to Pluto in Capricorn at 29 degrees. And so there's something about the end of this year and even next year where we're going to see more job changes, more shifts in the workforce, a higher understanding as well of what it means to do work that honors your skills, honors your abilities, honors your talents. And I feel like there's an overall rise in consciousness around what work really means, that what we do every day can be joyful. We can look forward to it. It doesn't have to be the heavy grind. It doesn't have to be that obligation to do anything for the 9 to 5. There's something shifting within us that is showing us that we can make new choices here. That doesn't mean that it's always going to be super clear, but if you are desiring a job change or a shift in your day-to-day routines and experiences, if you're looking for something to be a better fit for you energy wise, then this could be a week of upgrades in your consciousness, upgrades in possibilities. It can start with a shift in how you've been talking to yourself around your job, around what you do every day, and saying, you know, I do deserve better. I do want better. I'm looking for more. I know I can take on more responsibility if that's what you desire, if you want to move up the ladder or you're looking for a new title, new responsibilities. If you're ready for something that is a better match for your energy, this Virgo new moon and this last week of Virgo season is a beautiful time to invest in that energy for yourself, to gain clarity on what it would feel like to be doing a job you love every day and to be fully in love with your body, to be fully embracing your physical self, however that looks in the mirror right now, whatever that appears to be. Also, being very clear in your internal messages around what you're good at, what you do well, how you're able to honor your expertise while still developing more skills, more abilities, more information around where you want to go next. And so it feels like we're ending Virgo season with a new surge of energy, new understandings around what is possible and also what is practical. That is part of the Virgo themes. And there's also this support to stay aware of what you really want, and that the universe wants to support that. The universe wants to bring that in. And so if during this Virgo season, you're having new realizations around a new job, a new work direction, something else you'd enjoy better, perhaps it's a new industry, you're doing something on your own, whatever that might be, this time and next year would be good time periods to make these shifts, to put yourself on the track or in the direction of what you really enjoy now. This also pertains to those of you who have strong Virgo in your charts. You have strong Uranus in Virgo, Pluto in Virgo, or any personal planets in Virgo. There's an energy here that you could even feel a pressure. You could feel pressure to figure it out. And part of the Virgo experience is worry. Worry that you won't figure it out. Worry that you don't know what to do. Worry around the how. And part of what needs to be managed or tempered is that the worry needs to be repurposed into trust that there's a next step, knowing that what you're feeling is a message from the universe that also signifies there is a solution. If there's something you want, there's multiple solutions for how it can come about. If there's something you desire, if there's a change you want and you don't know how to get there, you don't know how to take the next steps or how to move into a new chapter or to move into something that you're excited about, the universe knows. And so it's working with the mental inquiries, working with the questions on how to get there. How can this happen? It doesn't seem possible. Working with whatever is coming up in you and understanding that if you're really ready and wanting the shift, the universe will make it happen. The universe is working with you for that change and will support what direction you want based on not only your intention, but the energy you're putting into it. And it's also really important to trust this, because the message I'm getting right now is that during Virgo season, you could have some inklings, some hints of something that you'd enjoy that would be possible. But maybe it's not ready yet. Maybe it's still baking in the oven. Maybe the pieces are coming through and they're not fully formed. But the universe is sending you hints and messages and whispers to open up your energy in that direction. Perhaps to expand anything that's been too narrow or too tight. Perhaps it's also wanting you to consider something that maybe you pushed away, you thought it was impossible, you didn't see how it would actually work in your reality. Well, we're living in magical, magnificent times. And there could be something that the universe is basically tapping you on the shoulder and wanting to get your attention so that you open up your energy to that possibility. You're just opening it up to allow that to be something that you could experience. And then it could unfold the rest of this year into next year. It could be something that is happening behind the scenes and you hear about it through a friend or a relative or a coworker. Maybe it's something that comes up through a member of your soul tribe, and the universe wants you to be ready for that because it's something that your heart desires or that you're ready to move into. So there can be some subtle hints coming through at this time, and maybe make a note of it or file it in a place that you recall it and we'll remember it later. But this is an energy of new possibilities coming together, new manifestations lining up. But we have to have the energetic openings to receive them. Otherwise, it just passes us right by. and we don't notice it, or we don't think it has our name on it. So certainly trust what you're feeling and what's coming up for you here over this last week of Virgo season, because the sun in Virgo interacting with the 3 outer planets of our solar system signifies a bigger picture development. Means that something is in the works, something is gathering energy and coming together. And of course, it's different for each of us. So at a more personal level, in your astrology chart, if you have any planets or points in the 3rd decan of the earth signs, so between especially 22 to 27 degrees of the earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, this can be a productive week for you. You can make a lot of progress. Things can come together. You could feel a revival in your life force of what you are working towards, of what you're investing in. You might have some new goals that come through, some new understandings of what you want to do in the world, of how to be in your energy correctly, and how to use it in a way that is really satisfying to the point where it feels very natural. And that's something else I'm feeling around this rise in Virgo energies, this Virgo ascension journey, is that we all have natural gifts, but they can feel too easy. And they can feel so easy that we just doubt them. And you're like, well, I didn't go to school for that. I didn't get certified in that. I didn't pay thousands and thousands of dollars to be accredited in that. But it's natural for you. It's natural. And so we overlook it. And we think, no, I have to work harder for it to mean something. Or I have to put in more time, energy, and effort so that other people take me seriously, or that they know I'm credible with this. So we have all these internal messages that we might have absorbed throughout our lives around what we're good at, when the truth is you're naturally good at it. It feels correct for you. It almost feels too easy and effortless, but that's exactly what perhaps you're ready to do or ready to honor. And there's a part of you that could be really accepting that right now. I'm just good at this. I've always been good at this. I didn't realize I could be good at this and get paid for it and be recognized for it, or be taken seriously for it. I thought I had to do X, Y, Z, or I thought I had to go to school, or whatever that messaging might be. This is a return to how you're energetically designed to excel and be successful. And I feel like that's something that could come alive this week. So stay aware of any of those messages coming through, especially if you have planets or points in those late degrees of the earth signs. Now, 2 more things I want to note about this week. One is that we now have Venus direct in Leo, as we know, making an exact square to Jupiter retrograde in Taurus at 15 degrees. And they've been in this square for a few weeks now, since this was also active when Venus stationed direct. And this square is interesting because now Jupiter is retrograde in Taurus, which means the energy can feel calmer, more patient, willing to wait. That Venus in Leo is a fire sign. It wants to go and create and be inspired. There's motivation there. The square to Jupiter retrograde in Taurus is allowing you to step back and allow something to maybe just be without feeling like you have to force it, you have to make it happen. There could be more of that willingness to just sink into trust, to just allow it to be what it is. And that is something that Jupiter is highlighting in Taurus. Jupiter can highlight the best of an astrology sign. And with Jupiter retrograde in Taurus, there's a part of us that's more allowing of something around acceptance, around patience, around what you're building, and allowing it to just be. So if that's a frequency you're feeling this week, you could have something shifted in you, something shifted where you're like, yeah, it's all right. It's good. I see how it's happening. I see how it's coming together. I'm not going to try to rush it or try to force it, which might have been the case previously. when Venus had an exact square to Jupiter, especially when both planets were direct. Now, there's something you've learned through the Venus retrograde process that's potentially calming the energy, diffusing it, maybe even releasing anything that was magnified or exaggerated or just too much. Now you're like, yeah, I'm good. It's all right. I've got this. Let's just allow this to play out how it will. And so this is the final week of Virgo season as the sun will enter Libra on the equinox on September 23rd. That will be at 2:49 a.m. Eastern Time, so it might be September 22nd for you. That will be the official start of Libra season. Yet we already have Mars in Libra. We have Ceres in Libra, finishing up in Libra. And then we also have on September 13th, Pallas Athena entering Libra. And so Pallas Athena brings in civility, harmony, and equilibrium, which are also the frequencies of Libra. So this can be supportive for what you want to take charge of. Pallas Athena is an asteroid and is quite dignified. She rules creativity and leadership. She is regal and majestic, requiring respect. And these could be energies that you're feeling now in healthy connections in your life. This is where you might also be checking in on the dynamics of giving and receiving, as well as what is a right choice for you at this time that honors your own sense of self-respect and creative intelligence. And the other thing that's wonderful to remember about Pallas Athena is that she does connect you to a deeper level of intuition. And I feel that she actually is a direct link to our claircognizance because of her intelligence and her wisdom and that internal knowingness that guides her. And so you could have some deeper intuitive messages around relationships, connections, partnerships. You could have some things that you're hearing multiple times in multiple ways as the universe is giving you information to digest and sit with, as well as an understanding of your choices. And that is something that is highlighted during Libra season. And we will talk more about that next week, especially as we look at the equinox energies, the turning point energies of the astrological year, and what we move into as we pass through this threshold between Virgo and Libra energy. So I'll talk more about that next Wednesday. So this is a week where you could feel the energy rev back up after Mercury stations direct and the Virgo New Moon continues to move forward and picks up energy from both Uranus and Pluto. This can be a productive week, a week of clarity and clear choices, an understanding of what you want next, what you want to create and build, as well as a readiness to be adaptable, to make changes that are needed, to implement more of what works for you now, more of what you need now, and what is best for you now. And if you have a birthday coming up here in Libra season and also Virgo season, be sure and check out my program on how to read your solar return chart. It's actually very important to know this if you have planets or points in Libra, because we're moving into eclipse season and those energies are probably going to be strong for you in your solar return this year. So just a heads up that you're going to want to know how these eclipses will be showing up for you and working with you, especially if you have planets or points in Libra, and also if your birthday is coming up. So this is a program where I guide you through the basics of understanding a solar return chart. If you can understand a natal chart, you're going to be able to understand your solar return chart. It's basically a natal chart for the next 12 months of your journey, and will show you the themes, the difficulties, the lessons, the growth, the areas of focus. So many things come through in a solar return chart. This class has been very beneficial for people, and it's really helped them not only know what's coming up in their lives, but also to be their own astrologer. And that's a wonderful gift to give yourself, to be a better astrologer for yourself, to know your energy more. And that's one of the reasons why I love teaching these classes. It's to help you be in your power, be in your energy, and also be more deeply connected to your energy signature. So do check out that program. It is 50% off right now when you use birthday as the coupon code. And it's a course that you can return to year after year. So you buy it once and then you just keep coming back every year to see what is coming up for you next in your solar return. So I'll put that link below the podcast here, and I do hope you can check it out and look at what is in store for you. I will be back every Monday and Wednesday with a new podcast episode as we continue to roll through these energies of 2023. Wishing you a beautiful Virgo new moon, as well as some awesome insights and understandings with the energies of this week ahead. As always, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to connecting with you again very soon. Take good care, and I'll see you back here on Monday.